Well, they are the medications most prescribed by doctors. Among those, some say they're even overprescribed.
We are talking about antidepressants, and as I found out, there is growing concern that some women taking these pills may be overmedicated.
Janice Danzy is a single mom, juggling it all: a house, 4 kids, a grandchild, a sick parent, and 3 dogs.
It's crazy. Technology, kids, you should work, you should stay home. It's hard to find a balance to begin with, and then if you're having a hard time to begin with, you're just going to be in the woods.
Janice remembers going through a rough patch several years ago.
There was a lot of things going on in my life, and I was just angry and sad and anxious, and there was so many emotions, and I had 4 young children, and I knew something was wrong.
Janice said it took therapy sessions, numerous doctor visits, and an antidepressant to get her back on track.
For me, it gets me from point A to point B.
But a new study in the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry finds nearly 7 in 10 people taking antidepressants aren't clinically depressed.
In your opinion, are antidepressants being overprescribed right now?
In my opinion, I think they are.
Dr. Seth Herbst is a Wellington obstetrician.
The strain on the system, forces probably more prescriptions to be given out than should be given out.
Herbst has specialized in women's health for almost 30 years.
Everybody thinks they can go to the doctor, they're going to get a pill's going to make everything better.
Statistics show 1 in 4 women in this country currently take antidepressants compared to 1 in 7 men.
There's not enough mental health counselors to evaluate these patients. They really need to go to appropriate people that can, spend the appropriate amount of time and come up with the appropriate diagnoses.
Janice says she was screened by several doctors before she was properly diagnosed.
Everybody thinks it's a happy pill. It doesn't work that way.
It's not a happy pill.
No, it's not a happy pill. You make your happiness.
And Dr. Herbst tells me a proper diagnosis should involve several visits between a patient and a doctor.
Antidepressants are stopping me from throwing myself off the nearest cliff.
I'd do anything to go back in time and not start taking them. Anything.
I wouldn't give up taking my medicine, even if I had 2 years without any symptoms.
Antidepressants don't solve problems, they just numb them. Mary's from Hamburg. She's taken antidepressants for 20 years, and she's been trying to stop for 18.
I was in my early 20s, and I got mononucleosis. But when it went away, I was left with low-level depression. Then I started getting stressed by things that hadn't ever bothered me before. I went to a neurologist and he prescribed antidepressants. I started to notice I had more energy again. So I went back to the doctor and said I didn't want to take them anymore. He said, okay, stop taking them. And I did. And that's when it started. I felt like my body was under immense stress. It was as if the devil was always chasing me. Nothing helped with the stress. I stood in the forest, shaking, because I just couldn't stand it. Every cell of your body is rocked by terror, and it just feels like you can't cope with it. You just can't bear it, but it doesn't stop. On and on and on and on.
Tell me about yourself. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Baltimore City, Montgomery and Stricker and Calhoun. And I'm 29, well, I'm 30 now, sorry about that. And I've been out here for 5 years on the streets, and I gotta get my arm amputated because of the drugs. I can't get in and out of rehabs. I've done been in and out of the hospital. My kidneys are shutting down and a whole bunch of other stuff I have going on because of the drugs. And the cocaine, I've been on cocaine only for 3.5 years, off and on. And it's got me really schizophrenic, really bad. I think people spy on me. I think a lot
like paranoia?
Yeah, really bad.
Yeah.
I think bugs are always at me, and people are always out to get me from the schizophrenic and all that stuff. And as you see, the heroin's just eating from inside out. I gotta get my arm amputated, and I'm only 30 years old, and I've only been out here for 5 years. So that's my life.
Has the paranoia always been there, or did that just start with the drug use?
The drugs have made it worse for me. Like, when it gets dark, like, I think people spy on me. Like, I always think people's out to get me. Like, thanks to cocaine, like, really bad.
This is the new young face of fentanyl addiction, before and after. 22-year-old Katie Mather, forehead and chin clawed open by her own fingernails because the use of fentanyl makes her skin crawl. I spot her on the Strip, Surrey's infamous drug hangout, and ask if she'll talk to me. She puts cover-up on her raw skin.
So I'm literally just did my mascara and I'm good to go.
Katie settles in to tell her story.
There we go. Perfect.
How she ended up living on the street 3 months ago, addicted to fentanyl.
Well, I've been using, it's actually funny, well, not funny, it's terrible. I have a really addictive personality. I've always been like addicted to something, whether it was shopping or Facebook or whatever. And I did an oxy. I got addicted right away. And then I found a regular dealer and I started picking up all the time. I remember the day the fentanyl came out and my dealer said, you know, I've got these new pills, they're fake oxys. He didn't tell me they were fentanyl because nobody knew what fentanyl was yet. He just said they're 100 times stronger and they're only $5 more. And I was just like, okay, because I was getting a pretty high tolerance at this point.
Oxys, OxyContin, led to fake 80s, fentanyl posing as OxyContin. Immediately, Katie wanted nothing else.
I could buy one of these fake 80s, put them into 4 lines, and 2 lines would last me a full day. That's how strong it was. And if I did a full pill, I would OD.
Katie says she's overdosed 11 times, most recently a few days ago. Brought back by paramedics or friends on the Strip who have naloxone, the powerful opioid antidote.
Every time I do dope, I know I'm taking a risk. I know that I might die, but like, it doesn't matter how many times I've OD'd, I still use the next day because the withdrawals are so bad.
Katie has been in the news before. She and her sister attacked by a Rottweiler cross back in December. Katie was badly hurt and spent time in hospital. She says that cemented her addiction to fentanyl.
Did you know that medication can actually be bad for your mental health in the long run? Well, instead, do this for your mental health. Number 1, find the root cause of your chronic illness and get that resolved. Also, develop healthy habits such as meditation, mindfulness, exercise, and even cleaning up your diet. If you want good mental health, then make sure to follow me for more mental health tips.